It's a chilly day here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, but we've got a brand new 2020 North Point 377 RLBH, that's rear living room bunkhouse, dual opposing slides in the rear, mid bunk room, loft bed, and this is a Jayco fifth wheel, so you have a 2+3 year full-time RV warranty. That's the best industry leading warranty in the business. In a rear living room bunkhouse fifth wheel, the main feature is of course the rear living room. And with these two huge opposing wall slides and the double vaulted extra tall interior ceiling height, I think this is just a gorgeous fifth wheel. This floor plan is a knockout for Jayco. It is their by far most popular North Point floor plan. We have had many of our customers interested in it. Very fortunate to have one at the dealership to film this video so we can show what it looks like. We currently are not stocking this unit, but if you did want to place a factory order, please contact us because we'd be more than happy to price one out for you and get you different options. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how this one's laid out so you can see what this fifth wheel looks like. We're showing the interior in modern farmhouse. That'll be the fabric, and the cupboard color is this light wood color. Same with the hardwood slide out fascia around the trim. And I love it. I think this is really nice. The other option is called Cashmere Cottage. It just has darker wood in the kitchen, and the fabric on the sofa and theater seats is a little bit darker. So here's that theater seat. It is power. It has 12-volt charging ports in it, and what is great is that it is conveniently right across from the primary entertainment center in this unit. You have a pop-up TV that can recess down behind the fireplace. The fireplace not only looks great, but it acts as a space heater or electric heating. And all of the, your Blu-ray player, the Bluetooth, everything is hidden in those top exterior covers. So this whole thing can pack away very neatly when you don't need it. And there is a window behind the TV. And then at the rear wall, you see this beautiful sofa. It's actually a trifold hide-a-bed sleeper sofa, which can make a nice, pretty large bed for easily 2 adults, which actually makes this a 4-zone sleeping fifth wheel. There's the front master bedroom. There is a loft. You have the mid bunk room, and then this rear sofa. So there's 4 separated sleeping areas. And you'll notice there's a lot of lights. This is all LED lights, but there's a lot of lights, and a lot of them can be individually controlled. So if you only wanted to have a pendant light on or the lights above the sofa, it's easy to do that. So if somebody's sleeping, you don't have to just crank on all the lights and have it very bright. Something else to point out, on either side of this trifold sleeper sofa, there is 110-volt power, and on the side tables do have a sealed edged pressed membrane top, so it's a lot more resistant to water spills, making this either like a bedside table if it's being used as a sleeping space, or just a convenient place to drink. We're going to take another look at the theater seat. What I've done is I've flipped down the center, I'm going to call it an armrest, and there are cup holders, and then again another 110-volt power and 12-volt charging station, which will be in addition to the regular electronic controls in the arms that also have a 12-volt outlet. And while we're here, we might as well take a look at the big, beautiful picture windows on the camp side of the RV. You could be standing in your kitchen, sitting on the couch, and you have a nice panorama view of your campsite with these 2 big picture windows, large window at the back. I think it's going to bring in a lot of natural light and really make you feel like you're outdoors, even though you're inside of your big, beautiful North Point fifth wheel. So I've got this table set up in the 4-person dining mode, usually there will be the 2 primary chairs and there are 2 additional folding chairs, and this table can be extended. And as I get a better look at the underside of the table, it is legless, which means that nobody's going to hit their knees on the table leg or table base, because you can see these big steel frame on the wall side, which just makes it a really convenient place to sit without having to hit your knees on any table legs. And as we pan over into the kitchen, I want to point out a couple things. So here I've lowered the TV, and you can see that there is a window behind it. So it does have a nice clean look when the TV isn't there. And then you have this tall pantry that will divide sort of the kitchen space from the entertainment center, which is kind of just like a nice, even if it's just a mental barrier, so you don't have to worry about getting oil or grease from your stove onto your nice big TV. And I do have a drawer open because I want to point out that Jayco does a lot of things that aren't immediately noticeable, and they're smart things. And I think it's worth pointing out when I do see them, because there's a lot that they do that is hard to notice, but it's going to make a big difference in the long run. So here's like a deeper drawer, and instead of just leaving it as a drawer, Jayco has added this smaller top sliding compartment that easily can slide back, revealing the deeper drawer. So you're not wasting any of this space, making it a lot more usable, which is just one of the many smart things that Jayco does in this fifth wheel, which I thought was worth pointing out. Beautiful solid surface countertops. And what's a really neat feature is the smaller drinking tap is actually its own independent fresh water drinking system. There is what I would describe as a 5-gallon Culligan jug in the basement garage storage that has its own separate 12-volt water pump. So you don't need to bring in bottled water. You don't need to drink the fresh water out of your holding tanks. You can have fill up that Culligan jug with whatever you want, or bring a Culligan jug, and it will independently have its own water system to pump it up into the kitchen, which I think is a really cool feature. And while we're here, let's take a look at this fridge. We've upgraded this to the 18 cubic foot RV fridge. So this is a propane 110 volt fridge that is just absolutely massive. And I do like how the stove, the fridge, the microwave, the faucets, everything matches, and with that modern farmhouse interior, I think this kitchen looks really, really good. And before we head into the mid-bunk room, I just want to point out that, there is a large wall in the kitchen, and Jayco's added a clock. They didn't need to add a clock, but it does add a bit of a focal point into this room where there would have just been a blank wall, and it's just one of the other things that Jayco's thought through to make this as pleasant an experience as they can. And here's that mid-bunk room that makes this floor plan, in my opinion, so very popular, because it's a very smartly laid out either office space, a guest room, a bunkhouse. Can be another place to enter, like another living room where you can sit and eat. It's really smartly laid out. So you do have a tri-fold sleeper sofa, so this can fold out into a bed. There is a top bunk that can fold down easily with one hand. On the right hand side, there's a mechanism to release it. A little bit hard to tell, but behind the sofa there is a table, and that will sit neatly onto the table legs that go into these recessed floor spaces. So you could set up a table in here. All of this across from a desk setup. So this could be an office. You don't need to bring another chair with you. There are 2 folding chairs that I showed in the dining table. So there is already a chair that can work in this office. And it's just really smartly laid out. There are 2 more drawers in the wall. Cupboards up top. It does come with the TV. which can make this a really nice office, a really nice place to watch a movie and eat dinner. And if you have company over, they have their own private space. And inside, you do have a large closet with adjustable storage shelves and a hanging rack, which is also accessible from the other side near the front door, which kind of makes this a really versatile space depending on how you want it. So we're just going to work our way through the rest of this fifth wheel, starting with the hallway in front of the main entry door. This is the other half of that wardrobe that I showed in the bunk room. And then up top here is your master controls. So it does have a touchscreen, but what's cool is you don't actually have to activate the touchscreen to be able to use all of the features. You can use these manual controls, like I can turn off the lights just with a button. And then of course you can enable your touchscreen menu where you have more detailed controls. And then up top here, there is an option to add a 190 watt solar panel package to this fifth wheel, which we've done on this model. And here you can see how much charging your batteries are being done from the solar panel. So you have a couple stairs going up into the upper deck of the fifth wheel, and you'll notice that there is a central vacuum with this fifth wheel, and there is a sort of like a dust collection kick plate, so if you're sweeping you can just use that kick plate to sweep all your dust into. There is a motion light on the steps, it's sort of like a greeting light, so that when you come in but you haven't turned any lights on, you do have a light. Same with the middle of the night, that light will just come on. And above here is the loft, which I'll show in a second. I do just want to point out how the ladder to the loft is built into the wall. It is only 4 rungs, and it's on the upper deck, so it's not an extremely tall ladder, which just makes it a little bit easier to get up into this top bunk. So this is out of the 4 sleeping areas, we showed the rear sofa, we showed the mid bunk room. This will be the 3rd sleeping space, the upper loft. I'm just closing the ladder. And it's exactly what you expect. It's an upper loft. So with these tall, double vaulted ceilings, and I think, yeah, you can kind of get a good view of it from here. There is a good amount of space in this loft. Makes a good sleeping space. These are, thick 4-inch bunk mats. And if you don't think anybody will ever sleep up here, it's very easy to take these bunk mats out and use this as attic storage. There's lots of room to store suitcases up here or whatever else you need. And of course it is set up for a TV with power. This is the light switch and satellite TV cable outputs. You will notice that there is another large picture window in the hallway. Really, when you're out in the daytime, this trailer is going to be so full of natural light. Like, these windows are huge and they all open to have a nice cross breeze windows. Nice feature on a Jayco where most of the windows will vent to the outside. And here is the bathroom. So as I mentioned before, there are 2 color choices for these north points. And what's neat is from the bathroom back, they're all going to be the same no matter what color choice you pick. So if you were to pick the Cashmere Cottage, the bathroom's still going to look like this regardless of which option you pick. So you can see this large, seamless one-piece shower with a corner seat. Just going to give a view of the shower head, and you can see this nice big skylight. Solid edged countertop in the sink as well. And what I've done is I do have all the lights on. So you do have this mirror with its own vanity light. It opens up into a medicine cabinet. Underneath the sink, there's still another sort of accent light underneath. And this cupboard actually is worth pointing out. Small feature. It looks like it's going to be small, but it's actually quite a deep space. I can probably fit my whole arm into this cupboard space. So even though it looks like a small little bathroom cupboard, that is a huge amount of space. And this will be the second large exhaust fan in the fifth wheel. And what I like about this fan is that you can see the shower in the mirror. Turn it on with the light switch in the wall. You don't actually have to fiddle with switches up on the ceiling. So up front in the master bedroom, we have ordered this with the standard queen-sized bed. There is an option to get a king. And you'll see on either side of the bed you have side tables. There's 110 volt power. There are light switches up here by where I'm standing, and then also you can see beside the bed. And what's neat about some of these lights switches is that they're not always for the lights in this room. They actually control some of the exterior lights and the hallway lights, which is kind of a neat feature in these North Points, how the light switch isn't just for the light immediately above you. And then looking at the very front of the fifth wheel, you have a monster closet, 2 large sliding glass doors, and it's kind of a mirror image. So I'm going to show this one side, and on the corners you have a lot of good shelving. There are 2 closet hanging bars, and they're not very long, so they're going to be able to hold a lot of weight. And you can see that there are lights that you can set to be motion activated lights, so you can see everything in your closet. On the other side of the closet, it's a mirror image to the first, but you'll see that this side is set up for a washer dryer to be installed. So if you did want to have that, it's already wired and plumbed. But if you didn't, it's still got the shelves installed, so you can just use it as a regular closet and you're ready to go. Standard from Jayco is the entertainment package in the bedroom. So this is not an option. This is just what Jayco does standard, because this is a North Point fifth wheel. This is a luxury fifth wheel. And what I do like is that they've kept everything pretty tight against the wall. So there's still a good amount of room to walk in front of this bed around to the rest of your fifth wheel. It's a little bit windy today, as well as chilly, so if you hear a little bit of the wind in the microphone, my apologies. I'm going to make this outside tour a little bit quicker than normal. So here you can see the MoRide step above step. It does have a gas strut to assist it, so it basically weighs nothing, lifting it up and down into the fifth wheel. And I do want to point out that this is a full-sized residential door. So me, I'm 6'5", I can walk through this door and not hit my head. Nice outside kitchen. There's no sink, but you have a beautiful barbecue grill. Everything is stainless steel, and it's at a pretty convenient height for a fifth wheel. It's not up too high. This is a very usable outside kitchen. The baggage doors do have magnet catches on them, so with one hand you could lift them up. They magnetize to the body, so it's pretty easy to move these doors up and down. And here is that front pass-through storage compartment. It is massive. I'll just point out a couple features in here. So as you can see, there is a power for a TV and a cable jack. There's the motion sensor light. You can see the water jug in the back. That's for the fresh water drinking system. We ordered this fifth wheel with the optional exterior barbecue. And you can see in the furnace ducting that there is a vent for the baggage compartment here. So this is a heated baggage compartment, as well as the thermal barrier between this compartment and the floor, helping keep the interior of the fifth wheel a bit warmer. MoRide pin box on the front. That's one of the 5 points in the 5-point handling package. We did order this fifth wheel with the optional Onan 5500 watt propane generator. This This is a massive front storage area. We've added one battery, but you can clearly see there's room for several more batteries. On the passenger side, driver's side of the vehicle, you can see the other side of the baggage door storage compartment. Pretty nice water command center here. There is your controls for the 6-point hydraulic leveling system, as well as another side solar charging port. So if you wanted to add another ground-based solar panel to this, you could right there. Water filter cartridge, 10-gallon gas electric water heater. Just kind of back up here so we can get a view of the whole fifth wheel from this side. I don't know if I pointed this out while we were doing the inside tour, but there are dual air conditioners on this, one in the back, one in the front. Looking at the rear of the fifth wheel, I'd like to point out the smart LED lighting, as well as the roof ladder, optional backup camera, and optional 2-inch accessory receiver. It's a nice little option, doesn't cost a lot of money, and it does let you add a bike rack or a storage tray without voiding or hampering your Jayco RV warranty. One final look at the camp side of the RV, and you can see all those giant picture windows that will give you a great view of your campsite. So that is the 2020 Jayco Northpoint 377 RLBH. If you would like to factory order one, please give us a call and we'll talk to you about pricing and options. And as always, happy camping.